Thanks for joining us for another episode of Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement. I'm here at the News Forum where all voices matter. Are bankruptcies by Canadian small businesses in Canada just the tip of the iceberg? It may be that bankruptcies are just one indicator of small business distress. Here to discuss the issue is Simon Gaudreault. He is the Chief Economist and VP Research for the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you on, of course. And first of all, I guess the first question's got to be, what is the state of small business in Canada right now? Are there a lot of businesses closing down, or are they just hanging on? Maybe give us your assessment of the situation.
Well, one could say that it's still far from a complete recovery when you look at the small business sector. If you look at the overall indicators, some people will be tempted to say that the economy has fully recovered. But when you just look at the big numbers, the macroeconomic indicators, it does hide different stories. And when you look at how our local businesses, our small and medium-sized businesses are doing currently, it's not so great for a lot of them. Maybe some of them are thriving right now, but for a large number, it is still a very challenging financial situation. You have, for example, 62% of businesses in Canada, according to our small business recovery dashboard, 62% still dealing with COVID debt. You have 78% that still manage significant COVID stress. And you have 54% of Canadian small businesses that are not back to normal sales when you compare to the last pre-pandemic year. So just by looking at these three indicators, you can quickly see that a lot of businesses are still very much in a fighting mode for their survival.
Those are large and surprising numbers. I didn't realize such a high percentage of businesses are still struggling. Was that a surprise to you and your researchers as well?
Well, unfortunately, we've been doing with this dashboard is tracking the numbers throughout the pandemic. And so for us, when we last surveyed businesses on that in June, and we're about to survey them again in the next few weeks, based on the trends that we've seen in the last year or so, we don't expect things to improve dramatically because, quite frankly, those numbers have been on a bit of a flat line in the past several months. And that's concerning because it means that you have a recovery here that might show in certain big indicators for the overall economy. But when it comes to Main Street, there is still very little progress that has been made for so many businesses.
I understand, yes. So describe your findings on declaring bankruptcy versus shutting down your business. Maybe explain to our audience what the difference is.
Yeah, our research on bankruptcy is something that we started actually earlier during the pandemic with previous reports that we've done, updating our results successfully during the course of the pandemic. But the most recent one that we've released very recently is taking a different look at bankruptcy numbers. Yes, bankruptcies are on an upward trend, as some people will recall. The numbers were down at the surprise of many and at the onset of the pandemic, and that might have been due actually to the support that was given to small businesses. We commended governments for rolling out programs very quickly early on in the pandemic. We believe that was the right thing to do, and some businesses were put in sort of a pause during the pandemic, and that might have explained why. And with other factors like the courts were delayed in their operations and so on, might have explained why the bankruptcy numbers were lower at the onset of the pandemic. But one of the things that we've said right from the start is that, well, actually, we said two things. This is only going to be temporary because we knew that the minute the programs will be lifted and governments.
Simone, I'm going to have to cut you off there. Hold that thought. It's a very important one. We're going to take a brief break. We'll be right back after these messages.